Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Nice to see you all. Last week, we talked about chapter 3. It's about resolving the unresolved. It's because a lot of people, especially Chinese Buddhists, they are confused with the idea of virtue and merits. So when they dedicate the merits, they are thinking they are also dedicating the virtue. But based on the dialogue between Bodhidharma and Emperor Liang, then we understand that there are differences. And in last week, we also talked about Pure Land. It's because there's an issue, a debate between the Pure Land school and the meditation school in Chinese Buddhism. So basically, these are issues that a lot of Chinese Buddhists concerns. And so it's though we are in the state learning the Platform Sutra, and it's also good for us to understand a little bit about the background of the Chinese Buddhism in Tang Dynasty. And we talk about practice and the differences between the practice of as a monastic and that as a lay person. And basically, according to Master Huineng and also Venerable Master Xingyun, that the most important thing for practice is to cultivate oneself as a better person, a good person. Okay? And because the perfection of as a human being is the perfection of one's Buddhahood. Okay, so this is a brief review of what we learned last week. This week, we are going to continue the study of chapter 4. And chapter 4 is about concentrative meditation and wisdom. Finally, okay, we will talk about the concentration, which I guess most of you are very interested in. And so briefly, let me summarize the text in chapter 4 in Platform Sutra. Okay. So let me share. Okay. So first of all, actually it talks about the about an overview of Venerable Master Huineng's teaching, and the most important thing are the three. Okay, not sure. Okay, so one is non-thought, one is non-form, and one is non-abiding. Now, pay attention to the term. It uses non-thought instead of no thought or not thought. Okay, it's non-thought, non-form, and non-abiding. Okay, it's if you have learned the Diamond Sutra, you know that it talks about A, and it is non-A. It negates A, and then that is A. Okay, so non-thought has that kind of connotation in it, that it is that third stage. Right? After you negating the thought, and then it present that is the thought. Okay, and according to Master Huineng, okay, he says his teaching is regarding non-thought as its objective, and non-form as its essence, and non-abiding as its foundation. Let me go to it's very difficult. Okay. And when he further discusses non-thought, he says it is to think without being fettered by thought. So it is still doing the verb think, but it's without being fettered by thought. And non-form is to be in the midst of form without being entangled in form. So still there are forms, but the important thing is that you are not entangled by all these forms. And non-abiding is in everyone's inherent nature. Okay, so now let's come to Venerable Master Xing Yun's commentary on this chapter. And in total, in the English version, it has 7 sections in discussing this chapter. The first section, the title is the objective, the essence, and the foundation, which I just mentioned. And Venerable Master Xing Yun says that thought of the past, it shows that you are aging, okay? Because you think about the past all the time. And the cure to that is practice meditative concentration. And if you think about, you have the thought of the present, you attach to the thought of the present, and then that shows that you are greedy, and then you have, you make distinctions, okay, between good and bad, high and low, and tall and short, for example. And the cure to that, how do you cultivate to rid of this kind of attachment? That would be discipline. And then the thought of the future, okay, it shows that you have a lot of illusions. You think about the future all the time. And the cure to that is to cultivate your pragya wisdom. So now here, in talking about not attaching to the thought of past, present, and future, it introduces the very important cultivation in Buddhism, that is discipline, meditative concentration, and wisdom. Okay. So non-thought, here it defines it as a special way of thinking, okay? And it's a kind of thought that arises naturally and the mind does not become attached to. And it will enable us to realize a larger world, okay? So this is one thing we need to practice. Now next is non-form, okay? Forms based on the interpretation in Diamond Sutra, there are 4 kinds of forms: the self, other beings, and other phenomena, okay? And if we attach to forms, that will lead us astray, that we're unable to walk on the right path, okay? And so therefore, the way to practice non-form, it suggests, okay, Venerable Master Xing Yun suggests, make your place of cultivation like the moon reflected in water, and like holding the Dharma services that we do that at our temple every week. When we hold the Dharma services, and then we regard that as flowers floating in the air, means that we have to keep in mind that it has its emptiness in its essence. And then we will tame maras, armies that are found inside a mirror and attain Buddhahood even in the dreams. Okay, so like cultivation here, we want to practice non-attachment, not attaching to the forms. Okay, and many people regard that that is a solid goal of Buddhahood there for us to attain, but actually we would treat that as a dream, right? Though in the process of our cultivation, we have to make effort to try our best to attain it. Okay? And the third one is non-abiding. So according to Venerable Huineng, it says that in the past, present, and future thoughts are linked together, thought by thought, as a continuum, and which is like the chain, okay, of thoughts. And that would, we will, if we attach to that, if we keep thinking about the past, the present, and the future, and we will be bound, okay, by all these thoughts. So it's very important that we're not attaching, not living, not abiding unto these thoughts. Okay, so far so good. Maybe pause a little bit. Do you have any questions? So far so good.
Yeah, I have a question, Venerable Juti.
Yes.
Just now when you were showing us non-thought, so how you practice that non-thought, just as you see things as it is and don't think beyond that? Is that what it is?
This is a human nature that
Okay.
whenever there is a thought arise in our mind, then there's a place for that thought. And then we cannot empty ourselves of that place. It occupies a space in our mind. Okay, and so the practice of non-thought is to treat all the thoughts as a continuum, like a flowing water. It won't stay in any spots. Okay, just like when I'm thinking of what I have had for dinner before I come to the class today. Okay, when I think of that, I thought of the thought of the past. It's the meal, the content of that meal, and then how I feel about that. And then immediately that lead to my present thoughts. Oh, I feel very full now sitting in front of the laptop. Okay, so I cannot free myself from this. And how to practice that? I have to let it come and let it go. Right? And then I shouldn't think about how wonderful that meal is or how terrible that is. I would say how terrible because I made that meal by myself tonight. Okay, now I attach to my past thought. Okay, so am I answering your question? Okay, then let's move on. Today, the topic is somewhat difficult, especially samadhi. Okay. Now, this samadhi is a state of one-pointed focus, and it is achieved through the proper practice of meditative concentration. Okay. So many meditation students, they come to a meditation class, they are seeking to attain certain kind of samadhi. Okay. But it is not only that one-pointed focus, okay? It's also an ability to carry the carefree Chan attitude into our lives, okay? Along with the Chan sense of humor, okay? And Chan penchant for seeing deeply into all things, okay? And then what is that? Single practice samadhi, okay? In Chinese, 一行三昧. Now the term, if you know Chinese, the term already make you feel that it's very profound, okay? Very high level of status of mind. So it is all phenomena are seen as equal, okay? Now it's very difficult for me also. It's very difficult because my according to our training since we were born, the school education, the family education, they all teaching us to differentiate, okay, to distinguish, okay. This person is beautiful, that one is ugly, okay, and you have white skin, I have dark skin, okay. So all these kind of distinctions. But if you attend the single practice samadhi, then when you see any person, okay, you see them as equal. Okay? And then so the second point is very important. Maintain an upright mind at all times and in all places. So what are an upright mind? Okay? In Chinese, it's 正直心 or 直心. Okay? We talk about that upright mind all the time. And what is that upright? And do I sit upright? Then that means I have upright mind? No, that's in appearance. So the upright mind means that you purify your mind. And not only purify your mind, your thoughts, but also your speech and your deed. The so-called the 3 acts of goodness, okay? That is, if you purify all these, then you are regarded as having an upright mind, okay? And this is a very highest level of achievement. So therefore, it also regarded as the highest form of Chan, okay? That single practice samadhi. But in our daily life, everything can be regarded as the samadhi of that, okay? For example, just like sitting to my left is Venerable Yi Song. She practiced calligraphy every day, day and night, okay? Every time when he finished cooking, her cooking duty in the kitchen, she will practice Chinese calligraphy, okay? And sometimes when I look at her, I see her face very focused in holding the brush pen and then writing stroke by stroke. And that is the beauty, okay, of writing Chinese calligraphy, and that we can regard that as that samadhi. She has attained the samadhi of calligraphy. Okay? And if you are very good in teaching Dharma, like Aina, okay, teaching her English Buddhism class, and then I would say that Aina has attained the samadhi of teaching an English class. Okay, so now you can imagine that if you practice certain things in your daily life and you perfect that to almost 100% degree, and then you can say that you are attaining the samadhi of that, okay, whichever item you think, okay. I would like someday I will attain the samadhi of eating. Okay, now here it talks about the samadhi of no mind, and then it gives example of Kumarajiva when he was young, and then he he picked up the gong, okay, the big bell, and put it onto his head, and then prayed that as wearing a hat, okay, without knowing the weight of the hat. And his mother saw that and shrieked, okay, shouted out, "How can you put that heavy stuff onto your head?" And then upon wearing that is a gong, very heavy stuff, then Kumarajiva, as a young boy, he couldn't hold on to that big bell, okay? So if you practice no mind, okay, no differentiation, okay, no distinction of all thoughts, okay, then the weight doesn't play a role in there. You are like holding things in the outer space, so to speak. So far, so good. Do you have any question or any doubt? You want to try to put a big bell onto your head now? no one want to try. Okay. Now, the third one is, it talks about obstacles. Okay. Now, it says, a quote saying that when the way grows by an inch, Mara grows by a mile. Okay? In Chinese, we say, for, what do you say? How do you say that in Chinese? Suddenly I forgot. 道高一尺，魔高一丈. Okay, finally got it. Now, the way is the Buddha way, okay? Meaning that when you feel that you make progress in learning and practicing Buddhism, then there's obstacles arise, okay? You have to confront a certain challenge there, okay? And I don't know whether you have that kind of experience or not, but I feel I experience that all the time, okay? Whenever I feel that I make progress, then there will be something or someone come in front of me to challenge my cultivation. I think that also serves as an incentive that you have to move on. You can never stop, okay? And so there are obstacles, for example, that words, okay, that you say to people that you can do this, you can do that, but you don't practice, okay? And also that maybe you have a mind, okay, a mind that practices incorrectly. Maybe you practice in the wrong direction, okay? Or maybe you attach to the Dharma, okay? So all these are regarded as obstacles. I think all of us, we have one or two or all of them. Now, so Venerable Master Xing Yun lists, I think 10 reasons that the mind may be obstructed. And one by one, you can see whether you have that or not. So the first one is the door to the mind may not be open, okay? We sometimes, we think that we are very open, okay? But actually we are very narrow-minded. Venerable Master Xing Yun give examples of his establishing Fo Guangshan, and people does not agree his idea, his mission of building the Fo Guangshan monastery in order to purify human mind, to purify the society so that we can have a better harmonious society. But sometimes people just criticize him, right? And Venerable Master Xing Yun says that, why can't people just open the mind, okay, and to make best wishes for that good will to better our society, right? And then other reasons can be the mind may be tied up, or maybe burdened, or maybe filled with illusory thoughts, or maybe worried. Okay? And I have seen many of the people, devotees, or people who are interested in Buddhism, that they have a lot of worries before they really put Buddhism into their daily life practice. Okay, so too many worries, that also would be an obstruction. Okay, I have to learn how to do that. Okay, and then others like maybe narrow-minded, or maybe because of unwholesome mind, and maybe because they have a wrong mind, greedy or deluded. Okay, the last one, interesting, the mind may be full and not empty. Okay, so again, we talk about how come. Okay, just imagine that you have your mind, you have a lot of thoughts in your mind. So that is what it means by full. The mind may be full. So the mind is conceited and does not let go of preconceived notions. Okay, and so some people, they if they come to Buddhism and then they think that Buddhist belief is superstitious, okay, and then Buddhism worship idol, okay, and Buddhism just taking vegetarian diet, not nutritious enough. So all these preconceived notions about Buddhism, then their mind is full. Okay? They cannot learn new stuff. Okay? And so it suggests that we should empty out our mind and make it like a glass filled with water, just like the Avantasaka Sutra, or Hua Yan Jing in Chinese. He says that if one wishes to know the Buddha state, meaning what kind, the state of mind as a Buddha, okay? If one wants to know the Buddha state, then the person should purify the mind such that it is like empty space, okay? So meaning that you have to empty out your preconceived notions, okay? And then accept the Buddha's teaching with a refreshed mind. Okay? And so if further talk about the nature of the mind, and he asked, what does the mind look like? And where does the mind abide? Anyone would like to try to answer? What do you think? What does the mind look like? Okay, any thoughts? Or empty? Anyone want to try? Yeah. Try to know someone. Okay, Marlene Lau. Hello? Yes?
I think the mind is formless, so it has no form. So if it's formless, how can you describe the mind? How can you describe it?
Okay. You cannot describe it?
Yeah, I think it's formless.
But isn't it scary that it has no form? And then you live with your mind all throughout your life. Then how can you know your mind? Okay. Any other one? Anything? Any? Yeah. This is somewhat like a roll call. Let me hear you.
This is Annie. 师父吉祥，大家吉祥。Yes.
So what do you think? What does the mind look like?
The mind, I think we should free our mind. So in that situation, we can learn more stuff. Like tonight, if Sifu want to teach us, we have to purify our mind and to understand what Sifu is teaching. And if in our daily life, we should free up our mind so we can see the real things, not
Okay.
that just go to uh, disturbed by any kind of things happen or anybody say anything may drive our mind crazy, angry. That is silly. I think we really need to empty our mind and then calm and quiet to see the real things, the real world. And
Okay.
that's what we need to learn. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank
I'm
you.
so happy to learn with the Sifu Shisha.
My pleasure. Okay. So if you ask 10 persons, what does the mind look like? They give you 10 answers, okay, or no answers. Okay. Anyway, what does the mind look like? It's not I tell you what it looks like, and also not what the Buddha tells you what it look like. You got to look at that yourself, okay? And you describe your mind yourself. It's not me describing that, yes? Peiping.
Can I say the mind looks like a monkey? It bounce back and forth, up and down everywhere.
Okay. Then that, you know, for Peiping's mind, it's like a monkey. Okay. Okay. And maybe for Annie's, from Annie's perspective, maybe you are still trying to search, okay, to see how it looked like. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, in each different stage of your practice of your learning Buddhism, you will see your mind in different phase. Okay. Okay, so where does that mind abide? We don't know, not yet. Okay, and here it is a story. There's a story about a master, Gu Ling. Okay, Gu Ling Chan Shi. Okay, he went to Master Bai Zhang to learn and then got enlightened. Then he went back to his Tangshe master, and his Tangshe master not yet enlightened, right? So, but the master didn't know that his student already got enlightened by learning from other masters. Okay? So they have dialogue, and who still remember the dialogue between the master and the student? It's very interesting. Okay? The master, the student help the master to bathe, okay? And that is an old tradition that the students help the master to clean, okay, the back of the master, okay, and the student says that, oh, what a good Buddha hall, okay, regarding that torso as the Buddha hall. And then he says, oh, but so it's a pity that the Buddha is still, it still don't have the Buddha in that hall, okay? And so in another occasion, the master was reading the sutras. The master still following the traditional way of studying, practicing, regarding if you study very hard, reciting the sutras many, many times, thousands of times, then you may get enlightened, okay? So this is a very traditional way of practice. But this enlightened student, Master Gu Ling, okay, seeing the master doing that, so he saw a fly flying inside the room, the study room where his master recited the sutra. And then the student make a point saying, unwilling to leave that room, okay, through the empty door, okay. Actually, there is a window there, but the fly wouldn't leave that room, okay. And banging against the window is too ignorant. Okay? There was a door open there, but the fly still banging against the window, okay, because he didn't see that there is that empty door out there. So for a thousand years, studying these ancient pages, meaning the sutras, okay, when will you achieve the way, okay, the Buddha way, okay? So this is the student's advice, okay, to the master. Now, anyone who would like to try, so what is the first two lines refer to? The fly didn't want to, unwilling, okay? Didn't want to leave that room through the empty door and banging against the window, which is very ignorant. What does that refer to, that ignorance?
He's referring to his own master who just thinks studying or chanting the sutras and reading the sutras will give him enlightenment, whereas there is the other way that Guling had discovered that would actually give him enlightenment.
Right, very correct. Right, there, the empty door refers to, there are many other ways, okay, in comparing with that window, okay. So it is like us, we as Buddhist students, if we just focus on very tiny spot and then thinking that is the only way, then we are like that fly, unwilling to leave through the empty door. Okay, very good. Okay, now number 5, Venerable Master Xing Yun talks about skillful differentiation. Okay, and so at the beginning, the Huineng gave a quote. He says, skillfully differentiate the form of all phenomena, be unmovable, for you are upon a supramundane truth. So if you have read the text of the chapter 4, the very last paragraph, it ended with this quote. Okay, so if you just see the meaning, the literal meaning, probably it's very difficult to understand that. So Venerable Master Xing Yun further explains what is skillful differentiation. Okay, he says that we use pragya wisdom to understand all phenomena. Okay, see the original face and stop differentiating with wrong understanding based on illusory thinking and false impressions. Okay, so all these are what we are doing. If we are not using pragya wisdom, then our understanding the class, the trees, the people, the city, the cars, vehicles. If without pragya wisdom, then we cannot see the original face, okay? And so a metaphor is used here like a mirror that will reflect the true image of whatever is placed before it. So we regard the mind just like a mirror. Okay, the mirror's function is to reflect, but not attached to. Okay, and then you reflect 100% of what's in front of you. Okay, without a distorted preconceived conceptions. And it is also like the light of the sun shines, okay, that shines on both the high mountains, but also shines onto the deep valleys. Okay, so the light will not differentiate. Okay, and that kind of mind is called even mind. Okay, but normally when I use the term, I use ordinary mind, 平常心. Okay, but here maybe even mind speaks more to the English speaking community. Okay, even means that you treat everything equally. Okay, a mind that responds with all circumstances and understands all phenomena just as they are. And also it means the world with its constant agitation becomes a world of equanimity. Means if you use even mind, and even the world you lived is full of agitation, suffering, afflictions, but because you look at them with an even mind, then that world becomes a world of equanimity, okay, a pure land. Okay, so far so good. Before I move on to number 6, do you understand that quote? Maybe I going back. Okay, the quote, skillfully differentiate the form of all phenomena, okay? But even though you can tell the differences, but you are not moved, okay? Because you have that supramundane, you understand that supramundane truth. We ordinary people, we distinguish things, okay? But we will be swayed by the appearance of all phenomena, okay? And this is why many people says that, oh, Venerable, you say that we shouldn't differentiate, we shouldn't distinguish. Then how am I going to survive in this world, okay? Truly, in Buddhism, it doesn't tell that you don't differentiate, okay? Following the mundane world rule, you have to know which is which, okay? Especially you drive a car and then there's a traffic light. Then you have to tell the red light from the green light, right? Okay. Here it says that you skillfully, upaya, okay? Yeah, that is very important. You need pragya wisdom to have that skillful differentiation of the phenomena, okay? And then that your mind is not moved by that, the distinctions that you make, okay? Yes, Aina?
Yeah, my favorite line in this whole chapter is, I have it here. Meditative concentration allows the mind to not be swayed by circumstances. When we are no longer swayed by circumstances, we gain the power to change our circumstances. And I think that to me says that there's not nothing, it's there, but it's how you understand the there that lets you progress. So
right.
that's my favorite quote in the whole thing.
You have to be not be swayed.
Yeah.
So that you can stay strong enough, okay, to confront all the challenges. It's what we call the 8 winds.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, next. Ooh. Okay, so let's talk about the power. we just mentioned that there are 4 kinds of power. Okay, one power of the mind. One is the power of extraordinary understanding. And then the second one is the power of contemplation. We know that's meditation. And then the power of joy. Okay, can you imagine? Joy is also a kind of power. Okay, next time you laugh, and then that is your power. And then the power of rest. I like that. What does that mean? Okay. The Buddha, in Buddha's time already, he says that, yeah, you have to make efforts to practice, to cultivate your mind, to meditate. But if you work too hard, it will be just like playing the stringed instrument. Okay, you wind the string too tight. Okay, you will break the strings. But if too loose, then you won't make beautiful music out of it. Okay? And I like this story very much. You know, every day in our practice, we by the end of the day, and then before you go to bed, you think about whether I try hard enough to practice, to study Buddhism or not. Okay, and then sometimes I feel guilty. Oh, not sometimes, oftentimes I feel guilty because so many time that I spend on trifle things, you know, little things, this and there. And then I feel that where's the where's the mind? Okay. But the Buddha says not to tight, not to loose. It also implies that in our daily life, we have worldly stuff to deal with, right? And then you cannot just put aside your worldly obligations and just focusing on what you call spiritual cultivation. Okay, in the Platform Sutra, it tries to let us know that every single stuff that counts. Okay, as long as you know how to make use of your mind to practice. Don't know how to explain that. The power of rest, do you follow that? Any? Okay. So you see the power of the mind, out of the four, the power of contemplation is just one of it. Okay, so therefore, let us be more open-minded, okay, to think about other way to cultivate the power of our mind instead of just sitting on the cushion and contemplate. Okay. Now, number 7, the last one is seeing, hearing, feeling, and knowing. So in Chinese, it's 见闻觉知. Okay. And for the, maybe it doesn't sound so much a term for the English speaking community, but for Chinese, when you hear the 见闻觉知, okay, you already know that includes a bunch of stuff. And what's the bunch of stuff? It's the process of the 6 sense organs: the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. Okay, the 6 sense organs, they are in contact with the 6 sense object, okay, the sight, the sound, okay, the smell, the taste, the touch, okay, the dharma, okay, all in when the 6 sense organs in contacting with the 6 sense objects, then it would give rise to the consciousness, okay, and that bunch of stuff is 见闻觉知. Okay, in English, seeing, hearing, feeling, and knowing. Now, for Aina, perhaps you don't know how to connect all these 4 words, but it's the process. Okay, now it says that the 6 sense organs are like 6 thieves, and thieves are those who steal things. So what do they steal? They steal our virtue and our dharma. Okay, and then the dharma is regarded as a spiritual wealth. Okay, so these 6 sense organs, they steal things away from us. But the 6 sense organs are also the key to awakening. Can you imagine that? Okay, you know, in Chinese it says 成也萧何，败也萧何，就是说, yeah, in English it would say that it is those things that steal away your dharma wealth, but it's also that 6 sense organs that would help you. Okay, that is the tool for you to awaken to the truth. Okay, so some people says that, oh, the thieves, the eyes are the thieves, so I don't want to see. I don't want to see. And then they take off their glasses and then they don't want to see. And when they come across people and then they see you but not seeing you. Okay, have you come across this kind of practitioner? I have. I have come across several of these kind of practitioners. Okay, they are, for me, they are like non-human beings. Okay. Now, this is not a way to practice. You still see people, okay, but you make use of the sense organs of your eye. You transform that. You don't follow that bunch of sense organs in contact with sense objects and then arise the sense consciousness. Okay, so all the 6 consciousnesses, or even all the 8 consciousness, they are obstacles, okay, that would prevent us from getting enlightenment. And so therefore we have to transform the consciousness into wisdom. Okay, and so that is in Chinese we say 转世成智, okay, and that is here. That is why the term, the 4 English words, okay, seeing, hearing, feeling, and knowing, 见闻觉知, are so important terms that we have to know, because all these, if we experience the world through seeing, hearing, feeling, and knowing, okay, the 6 sense object, 6 sense organs, 6 sense object, and 6 consciousness, if we experience the world through all these 18 realms, 八界, okay, then we are going to experience the illusory world. Okay, and then we have to transform that into our pragya wisdom, 转世成智. Okay, so any questions about that? Hope not. Now, this is a very interesting story about a monastic whose name is Hui Wei, and he encountered a ghost. Now, a poor ghost that whichever manifestation he showed up in front of this monastic, this monk, he failed. So at first, there is no head, and then the monk says that, oh, no head is good because you won't have headache. And then so the ghost give a 7-second try. What if a person only with limbs but with only limbs but no torso, and then so the monk says, oh, no melodies from the body organs. Okay? You won't have a lung disease. You won't have kidney disease because you don't have torso. And then no mouth. Then the monk says, oh, no monk, then you don't have negative karma from unwholesome speech. So like that, then the monk was not afraid of the appearance of the ghost, whichever forms he show up. And that we can relate to what the Heart Sutra says: no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. Okay, that when the Heart Sutra says no this, no that, doesn't mean that you don't have the eyes. Okay, it means that we don't attach to that. Okay, we don't attach to the six sense organs, six sense objects. Okay, six consciousness. Okay, and meaning that if we don't attach to that, then we're not influenced by all these circumstances. Okay. So finally, this is the last slide. The Guan Yin, okay, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, okay, and in one of the this Bodhisattva's popular manifestation appearance is 1,000 hands and 1,000 eyes, okay, 千手千眼观音. So there is a conversation between two monastic. Okay, one is Master Dao Wu and another is Master Yun Yan. Okay, this is a very famous koan story, and I would like to know whether you understand it or not. Okay, now the question is that now Guan Yin, Guan Yin is also Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Guan Yin has 1,000 hands and 1,000 eyes. Okay, so which eye is the real eye? Okay, that is the question. And then so the answer, okay, the first the one of the Master Dao Wu, okay, he says that, oh, you have seeing eyes all over the body. Right? Now, before he comes to this, it's a question asking. So when you sleep in the darkness of your room, okay, if your pillow fell off your bed, and then your hand reach to the pillow, and then you pick it up, okay, what kind of eyes you use, okay, to pick up the pillow? Have you done that before? Okay. Did you done this in the evening? I did that all the time. Okay. So Master Dao answers that he says, you have seeing eyes all over the body. Okay. You have all over your body, you have the eyes here, 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 and meaning that also hands. You also have the eyes in your hands. Okay. And then you use that kind of eye to reach to your pillow and pick it up. Okay, meaning that all over your body, you see the eyes. Okay, and then Master Yun Yan says that, oh, you only answer 80% correct. Okay, now let's see the 100% answer, correct answer. It says the whole body is a seeing eye. Okay. What is the difference? What is the difference? The whole body is a seeing eye. Comparing to the eyes all over the body. Is in Chinese, 辨身视言 and 通身视言, okay? And in English, I think English is easier to understand. Okay, so let's see who can
If you say you have seeing eyes all over the body, it means that you have separate eyes, whereas the whole body is a seeing eye means that your consciousness that you experience within the body is that one eye.
Only one eye, and then, okay, very good. It says seeing eye, okay? The whole body is a seeing eye, meaning that you don't have to separate eye and the body, right? The body is the eye, and then the eye is the body. Yes, Aina?
I was thinking that it's true of the other sense organs also, where the body is also the hearing ear.
Right.
That it's what I liked that you talked about. A lot of times we talk about the thieving of the senses instead of seeing the use of the senses. And that the body is the seeing eye, and I would say the hearing ear, the all of the senses are interwoven and can be used for that insight or that outward reach, the outward virtue to care for others. That it's all tied together, nothing separate.
Right.
Yeah. In reality, our ears do not hear, our eyes do not see. They're not really, they don't experience the things. It's our consciousness that experiences it. So it's the consciousness, the one consciousness that permeates the entire being that is the eye, the ear, the nose, the taste, everything.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Marlene now.
Could it be that because it's the senses in the body, it's not the actual like seeing, it's a sense of seeing in the body?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I agree that we oftentimes neglect the function of the senses. Okay, in talking about cultivation of Buddhism, the eyes. But how do you explain in one of the Buddha's disciple, Upali? He at first he was very lazy. He fall asleep in the Buddha's lecture assembly, and then the Buddha scolded him. Then he becomes study very hard, and then finally he got the psychic power of heavenly eyes. His naked eye is blind, okay, and then but he attained the psychic power of heavenly eyes. And what does that mean? When you have heavenly eyes, you can see, okay? You don't use your sense organs of your eye to see. You use another
senses
senses to see. Okay. Yes.
It's like a blind person. They cannot see, but they can sense things, and their sense of, they have good sense of like other functions, other faculties like touching, and they can tell.
Right. In the world, we can see some of the people, they have that kind of talent, and some people even that you write Buddha on a piece of paper and then using hand, you can feel the power of that word. Okay, that you also explain that as a sense.
Yeah, sense of touch.
Okay, I don't know what we should call that. Okay, but in Buddhism, according to what I heard from my master, he says that our eyes, sensory organ, eyes is to see, ears is to hear, but for an enlightened person, okay, and the ability to hear not necessarily limited to the sensory organ of the ears. Okay, you can use other sense organs to hear. Okay, and then so why is that? It's because we ordinary people, we are limited by what we think that these sense organs should behave, okay, the function, okay? But if once we have that pragya wisdom, just like Kumarajiva in the story, without a differentiation mind, he can pick up the very heavy bronze bell and then put it on his head, okay? So if we don't have that mind of differentiation, if we can see all things with real equal mind, even mind, then maybe we would all have that kind of certain kind of psychic power, okay? So, but because we can't, we still have a lot of attachment to our sensory sense organs, so we cannot. But it doesn't mean that it's impossible. Right? So according to here, the whole body is a seeing eye. Okay, Dean, you're right. Okay, the body is not the limit, only functioning in touch. Okay, the body still can have function in other ways, such as seeing. Okay, so now do you believe the Avalokitesvara can hear and help us whenever we call her name? Yes, okay, it's possible. Especially when you regard yourself as Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Okay, so we are running out of time today, and it's my pleasure to discuss chapter 4 with you, the concentrative mind and wisdom. That is closer and closer to the center, the focus of the topic, what we want to discuss about our mind. Where is our mind? What does it look like? And where does it abide? The following chapter is, what is the following chapter? The sitting meditation, okay, which we regard that as the, what we call the center practice of meditation school, right? Especially the Platform Sutra is upheld by the Chinese meditation school. So we want to know what is sitting meditation, right? At the very beginning, but see what we have come across of the four chapters we come across. The first chapter talk about the biography of Master Huineng. Second chapter talk about the Pragya wisdom. And after reading the Pragya wisdom, we still don't know what Pragya wisdom is about. And then chapter 3, we read solving the unsolved. So it sort of solves some of our questions about how to practice. Is meditation better than Pure Land? And where is the Pure Land? And whether what I do in doing offering, donation, is that considered as merit and virtue? Oh, then we found that that is not virtue, that is only merit. And then we come today, the chapter 4, we come across sort of closer to meditation, that is concentrative meditation and the wisdom, okay? And then we want to further know, so when we sit on the cushion in a meditation room, okay, and what would we experience? Okay? Are you curious about that?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Then read chapter 5. We will take 1 week break. Don't know why we take a break for that week. Anyone knows? don't know. Anyway, we have more time to study and about chapter 5. I hope
Shifu,
that
I see online they talk about the Earth Day in April 22nd. Yeah, and then I think they have a Zoom meeting at UN.
right,
So I
okay.
think that's the only reason because they take 2 days. The meeting at UN is April 22nd and April 23rd. Yeah, I
Okay,
think that's the only one reason I see from internet.
correct. Thanks
Thank you.
letting me know that's the Earth Day event. So um, uh, so maybe on the one hand you study Platform Sutra, on the other hand take care about what happened to our Earth. Okay. It is also a very important topic that when we talk about our mind, right?
Yeah.
It's also the
Yes.
protection of our mind because
Mhm.
the earth is also in us, inside our mind. Okay, thank you for joining me.
Thank you,
And
Shifu.
I'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you, Shifu.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you,
Shifu.
Shifu. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Take care,
Yes.
everyone.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Take care.
Good
Bye.
night, Amitabha.